Never be so full of pride and ego that you can never admit when you're wrong. You become standoffish and can't nobody basically tell you nothing. Oftentimes, we don't even realize what we're holding on to. It festers so much so that we're literally causing our own demise, our own sicknesses, our own downfalls, our own bad energy. So, for instance, when some people look at me and say, I don't really see any light when I look at you, can I really fault them? So it's honest, candid moments about yourself where you can get the most growth. I will always advocate for people that need therapy. But the most therapeutic you can be to yourself is letting go of pride and ego, realizing when you're wrong, and letting stuff go. So I just wanted to come and give that little reminder before I went to work or signed on or whatever, and just wanted to say that to somebody because it may not be for you, but I'm quite sure as long as TikTok circulates, this video will hit somebody at the right moment, the right time, and the right season. Sometimes you're going through something, and when you sit down just to scroll, we're blessed to have social media as a gift and a curse depending on how you use it and how you're letting your algorithm and how you're controlling that. You can see something and hear it at the right season, the right moment, and it'll wake your spirit up. I'm praying to ask God to change my countenance and how my face looks, because when I walk in, and I be so offended sometimes that, well, nobody speak to me. Walk past me and get right bright and speak to everybody else. And I always said, why can't people take into consideration what I see, how I feel, the energy that I feel? But it's this old lesson that I'm getting ready to say, a verse. It starts with who you are. Nothing will never change if we wonder why everybody else don't do this and why everybody else don't do that. And I'm also say this too. I hope it don't offend anybody, but if it do, you need to ask yourself why. But it's no secret that a lot of women of color, we're stigmatized and stereotyped as having bad attitudes. And we don't realize it sometimes that maybe we do, even though the rest of the females in the world have bad attitudes. But it seems like the spotlight is shined on us so much so that that's basically all you hear now. So it's very important that we as women, everybody should, but women, especially when you get the brunt of everything the most, it's very important that, and if you can think of an instance as you hear me talk about this, or you feel some type of conviction, then deal with it. Because I'm not the only one that every time you get flustered, things don't go your way, you got a nasty attitude and can't nobody hardly bear you. And then there's some that they've learned that the world does not evolve around them. You need to slow down. And what didn't happen today, if it's in God's will, it will happen. And we so intense, as I always say. I always use myself because I'm guilty. But let go of pride and ego, because a lot of that stems from hurt and anger and pain and not wanting to be wrong and always wanting to be heard. See, there's so many different avenues I can go down when I talk about certain topics such as this, because they all lead back to certain things. So before I go on and on and on and go down something else, if you're somebody that wants you listen to this, if you stay to listen and you can understand what I'm saying, and if you notice your attitude, because if we be real and candid with ourselves, we all have moments where we want at our best. Some of us more than others. Spotlight on you more than others. That's me. But I love the fact about myself that I'm willing to be broken before God, and broken so much so that I have to hold my head up high and be complacent in this season with you're by yourself. And instead of you wondering why everybody else ain't doing this and why everybody else is not doing that, check your daggum self. And Delilah Patrice is not the only one. And I pray that this video circulates across the globe so much so that if you stay to listen, you can understand the validity of it. Pride and ego, sometimes you can't get nowhere. You don't want to say you're sorry. You don't want to ask for forgiveness. You don't want to say how you really feel. See how many different avenues you can go down with pride and ego? It basically shuts off a spiritual life for us. I'm going to go on and on and on, but so I shut up and go on about my day. If this is something that you can resonate with, make sure you check your attitude. And the fact that I'm willing to say this on camera knows that now I really so much so have to practice what I preach. I love the person that I am, even though a lot of people may not. But what I don't like is my nasty attitude. What I don't like sometimes is the way that I come off. And because I was able to let go of pride and ego and didn't sit in defensiveness, God can do something with that. And He can do something for you too. So that's all I had to say today. I'll probably come back with something else. I want to be able to say something that resonates, because I feel like there's so many things that I have been through that has a spotlight has been shined on it, that if you have lived through it, can't nobody make you feel embarrassed. You woke up today and there's something that you need to do. I thank God for that. I thank God for whoever stayed to listen. And I just ask for everybody to stop sometimes and just get in tune with what we got going on, as I always say, internally. And let's see if we can present something better to the world. I know we can hit record and look good and dance and play and say something good, and if you got a lot of buddies and you trending, you get a lot of likes. But let's keep it real. And sit down, or at night before you go to sleep, or some people you're thinking of your thoughts, and say, what type of person am I? What type of ways do I really have? How can I be better? Because even the most loved and the one that looks the most optimistic and positive on the outside to everybody, they have struggles. They just don't house it the same as everybody else. We all don't house our pain the same. We all don't show it the same. But to bring my point back to what I initially said, pride and ego is one of the number one killers to relationships. It'll attack your health. It's a lot of things. So make sure you pay attention to how you move out here. Not just so much so everybody else. Because for years, that's what I did. And if you are younger than me, or you are my age and you're still going around that same mountain, it's time for us to walk off, step off, and go do something else. So do what you will with that. I thank you for everybody. I'm gonna just say this. I thank God for each and every person that woke up this morning. Whether you rock with me or you don't. Whether you know me or you don't. I thank God for you. I ask for Him to move in your life. I ask for travel and mercy. I ask for everything that you got going on today. If it is in God's will, may you be blessed in it. May you learn something from it. I don't know what He's doing, y'all, but He's doing something. Y'all take care of yourself and be good.